Hey, welcome. Do you ever feel like you're just kind of scrolling through the weather on your phone? You see the numbers, you see the icon, but you don't really get what's happening outside. Well, let's talk about how you can go beyond that screen and actually start reading the sky for yourself.
I mean, we all do it, right? A quick tap on the app tells you it's 15 degrees or there's a 30% chance of rain. But what if the weather could be more than that? What if it could be a story that you learn to read every single day, right outside your own window?
You know, this idea is really what this whole explainer is about. It's about changing the weather from just background noise into this living, breathing system that you can actually connect with. It's time to stop just checking the weather and start actually observing it.
So where do we even begin? Well, the very first step is just a change in your mindset. Seriously, this is not about becoming a professional meteorologist overnight. Nope. It's about building a personal relationship with the atmosphere right over your own home.
And listen, you don't need some high-tech lab or a bunch of expensive gear to get going. The most powerful tools you have are your own two eyes and a curious mind. The real secret? It's just showing up, day after day, and just paying attention.
All right, let's get practical. To give our observations some real teeth, we're going to set up a super simple home weather station and a log to write down what we find. I promise, it's way easier than it sounds, and it's going to be the foundation for everything else we learn.
Okay, so here are the basics. You've got your thermometer for temperature, of course, a barometer to measure air pressure, and trust me, this one is so important. Then a hygrometer for the humidity, the moisture in the air, a rain gauge, and then something to check the wind. You can grab these one by one, or you can find some really affordable digital stations that pack them all together.
Now for the fun part, the daily habit. Consistency is everything here. So try to pick the same time each day to just step outside. Jot down the numbers from your gadgets, look up and describe the clouds, and then add your own notes, like thick fog this morning, or the wind feels sharp today. It honestly becomes this fantastic little daily ritual.
And this is basically what it looks like. Just a simple table in a notebook, or maybe a spreadsheet. But look closer. What's really interesting here is that note on the air pressure. 1005 MB, falling. That little detail, that's not just a number, that's a clue. It's a key piece of the story the sky is telling you.
Okay, this is where the magic really starts to happen. After just a couple of weeks of doing this, your logbook stops being just a list of numbers, and it starts turning into a story. You actually begin to connect the dots, and you'll see these amazing patterns emerge. Let's see how that works.
One of the coolest things to do is to compare your notes to the official weather records. Why? Because this is how you learn about your own unique microclimate. The specific weather happening in your little corner of the world. You might finally figure out why your backyard seems to get more frost, or why it's always a degree or two colder than the airport that's 10 miles away.
And once you have that data, you can start to see it visually. Just look at this simple chart. You can clearly see that over the course of a week, the rainfall is picking up. Monday was bone dry, but by Friday, a pretty decent amount of rain has fallen. The big question is, why? Well, your other data holds the answer.
And boom, here it is. This is the payoff. You'll look back at your log, and you'll notice that while the rain was increasing, your barometer readings were falling. This is your first huge forecasting insight, and you discovered it. You're seeing with your own data that falling air pressure is a classic telltale sign of incoming rain. How cool is that?
But this whole journey goes way beyond just predicting if you need an umbrella tomorrow. Keeping a weather log connects you to your little patch of the planet in a much deeper way. It's really about closing the gap between the data and what you can actually feel.
And this is what it's all about. You start to feel that change in humidity on your skin, and then you look at your hygrometer and it confirms what you felt. You see those high, wispy clouds, and you remember from your log that they often show up a day before the weather changes. You're actually linking your own senses to the science. Ultimately, this whole practice is about discovering something pretty fundamental. It's about tuning into the pulse of the planet right in your own backyard. You're not just living under the weather anymore, you're living with it. You're starting to understand its rhythms and even its language.
So I'll just leave you with this question. The next time you step outside, don't just pull out your phone. Look up. Listen. Feel the air on your skin. Your journey to becoming a real sky watcher, it starts with just one single observation. The sky is telling a story right now. Are you ready to learn how to read it?